Alright, y'all, what's up? Today is another day. I don't know what the date is, but dates are unimportant. It's just a way to track the sun by the powers that be time from my recent learning, and really just a way to age us and kill us faster. So who cares what day it is? It's a beautiful afternoon. What's good, y'all? Monty Appleton. I'm a healthy family advocate at the core, and just someone who is here helping us heal, helping us wake up in this energy of awakening. We're all out here tapping into this great energy and hopefully capitalizing off of it. I have been tasked with reading the Bible on live daily for an hour. Right now we are on Genesis chapter 25. But before I get started, I had two messages that I wanted to deliver that I've been contemplating. One, obstacles. Maybe I'll deliver a message on Saturday about obstacles. Anyway, just pay attention to things that you believe are opportunities and you're excited about them, and then something happens so simple. Something happens so simple that stops said blessing from transpiring. And then you're just like, oh, well, what happened? In old energy, it may have been, what did I do? But, in new energy, it's like, oh, that's interesting. Because I know that anything that is supposed to happen for me, to me, all the me's, is going to transpire, because I am never so powerful, and this is my belief, I am never so powerful that I can stop the hand of God, which leads to the second understanding that I've come to. But I understand in relation to God, God is outside of me, God is inside of me, God is all the things, omnipresent, right? So when I speak of God, I speak of God in multiple positions in my life. And in this case, I am never so powerful that I can override the hand of God. I can override the protection that God has over my life. I cannot override the direction, especially since I have made the commitment to walk with God and to do God's work. Whenever I enter into an agreement and God's like, yeah, that's not going to happen, it will be blocked. And that is something that we saw yesterday in our reading. I don't remember the exact space. I remember the side of the book. I remember it was on this side of the page in this area of the Bible, but I don't remember exactly where. But pretty much God said, anything that I don't want to reach you won't reach you. So I'm protected. Like, yes, my ancestors got me. Yes, I protected myself to the best of my knowledge. But at the end of the day, God protects me as I walk my walk, live my life that I have chosen. I am protected. So just know that when there's an opportunity on the table and you're like really excited, or you're just like, oh, this is going to be cool, and it doesn't go through, and it could just be an opportunity to go hang out with a friend. It could just be an opportunity to, go and do something that you've been wanting to do. It could just be something that you feel that you manifested and called into your reality, and for some reason it doesn't happen. Just understand that the first time that things manifest for you, you put out your beacon for something to come to you. And sometimes the first times it comes to you, it isn't for you. And those are the opportunities, and that's why you pray the prayer, God, anything that's not for me, remove it. Known or unknown, remove it. And that's when those things are removed. You can't question why they're removed. You just have to be, something was there that I was being protected from, and be in gratitude. And then the next message that I wanted to deliver was, I was watching and just posted some videos about a Viola Davis, Oprah Winfrey interview that I saw on Netflix, filmed in 2022 in relation to her book. I don't know the title of her book, but anyway, it's the last two videos on my profile where Viola Davis says, are you going to live the life that God gave you, or are you going to have the courage to create the life that you know that you deserve? I took discrepancy, just mild discrepancy, with what she said, because that thought process is, to me, an old thought process in the respect that we believe that the life that we're born to is the life that God has given us. The life that we're born into is the life that we have chosen, because we did choose the vessels of with which we need to come forth through. But we have to understand, just because we chose Delilah and Tony to be our parents, or the names of your parents, just because we chose those vessels because we needed their genetic makeup, we needed whatever we went through in our childhood, beginnings. Yes, we chose that for the shaping of what we chose to experience in this lifetime, but we also have to understand that that is not the life that God gave us. That is the life that we, the God in us, our higher consciousness, chose to experience. But just because we chose an experience for a period of time within our life, we have to understand that if there is any type of calling or yearning within yourself that tells you that you are more than what you are presently experiencing, then you owe it to yourself. And that's what Viola Davis meant when she said to have the courage to actually create that which you desire. So if you have a desire within your heart, it is for you to experience. And if you are accepting your present circumstances simply because you were born into them, simply because everyone who came before you is doing it, you are wasting your potential, you are wasting your life. And so you need to make sure that we don't get stuck in the belief, because we, especially as melanated people, were forced down. You understand? When we had thriving communities, when we had cooperation and unification within our communities, remember, they were called communities. They were not called hoods. So when we actually had communities as Black people, we actually have to leave the hood to go move into a community now. But at one point, our hoods were communities, and we were dangerous. We were so dangerous that they destroyed us, put us under lakes, and bombed us. So you have to understand the power in our connectivity, in our collectiveness as melanated people. So it is intentional that we are born into the nothing that we are born into. And it is also, they taught us to hate ourselves and love their wealth. And so with us loving their wealth, we believe that the advantages that we are offering ourselves and offering our children and our offspring are monetary. So we believe that if we could just make more money, then we can get closer to whatever the goal is. But we have to understand that the goal isn't to make more money and still remain an empty vessel. If you are an empty vessel, you are getting no closer to God. Just because you drive a Bentley to the church house on Sunday, you are just as bankrupt as the person that is catching the bus if you are not doing the work to heal yourself, return yourself to your God consciousness, recode your DNA so that you know who you are. And it is all intentional. So those were the two messages I wanted to deliver prior to beginning our reading today. I'm going to stop a little early today because I have to take my daughter to wherever I have to take my daughter to. But just understand, there's no such thing as lost opportunities. You are just being blocked from something that wasn't for you. But the fact that it showed up should get you excited, because that means you're calling it into you. It will represent itself. And when it does represent itself, it will be able to flow through like water, because it is divinity. If it is blocked and damned, you're being protected. Be thankful. What's up, Trini Trin? All right, today we're going to read Genesis chapter 28. So Isaac called for Jacob and blessed him. Then he commanded him, do not marry a Canaanite woman. Go. Okay. This just sounds a lot like Abraham blessing Isaac. So I was like, did I already read this? Or Jacob? Who stole the blessing? Jacob. Jacob stole the blessing. Esau. But Rebekah said to Isaac, I am disgusted with the lie. Okay, so Isaac. I be getting these names mixed up, y'all. So Isaac called for Jacob and blessed him. Then he commanded him, do not marry a Canaanite woman. Go at once to Padan Aram, to the house of your mother's father Bethuel. take a wife for yourself there from among the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and increase your numbers until you become a community of people. You know what I see, and I've been paying attention to this, and since I'm paying attention to it, it must have something that it needs to tell me. But the reason I've been paying attention to these parents, hey Ree, these parents are blessing. They are speaking blessings over their children. Because like the first blessings that were spoke over was God over Abraham. And the first curses were God over Adam and Eve. But the first blessings, hey, we are on Genesis chapter 28. The first blessings were spoken over. God spoke over Abraham and said, I will make you fruitful, multiply, yada, yada, yada. But what I've noticed since then, maybe Noah, whoever came first. We ain't here for semantics. We here to just think and use our brain, not argue. No, it was Noah first. No one cares. The point that I'm making is God was the first one to speak this. May you be fruitful and multiply, and may your children, be countless as the stars. And if you could count the stars, you could count your descendants and that stuff. That came from God first. But now, as these fathers are about to go out, or parents, but it's been the fathers. It ain't been the mothers passing anything down. It's been the fathers passing stuff down, which, I don't know. The thing is, I want to try to alter things for today's society, but I think it is important that the father was leaving legacy. And how many of our homes are so broken that there's not even a father to leave legacy, and we've accepted so much lack in our life that there's no legacy to leave. There's actually a video of me and Dre where we're not laughing, we're like coming to the realization and the sadness that if we were to die today, we ain't got nothing to leave our kids. Nothing. Like, you want my hoodie for sentimental value, but otherwise I don't have anything to pass on at present to my children, but I'm actively working to do that. But what I'm saying is, I have noticed every generation after God started the trend, up until whenever it stopped, when the parent was about to pass away, they passed down their legacy to their child. Let's live so that we have a legacy to pass down to our children, because if we're truly living like they lived in the Bible, we should have something, even if it's our knowledge, to pass down to our children. They should be able to walk away from their experience with us with something besides disdain. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and increase your numbers until you become a community of people. May he give you and your descendants the blessings given to Abraham, so that you may take possession of the land where you now reside as a foreigner. May you give me the blessings of Abraham, God. I am a descendant of Abraham, and I need said blessings, please and thank you. So that you may take possession of the land where you now reside as a foreigner, the land God gave to Abraham. Then Isaac sent Jacob on his way, and he went to Padan Aram, to Laban son of Bethuel, to Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, who was the mother of Jacob and Esau. Now Esau learned that Isaac had blessed Jacob and had sent him to Padan Aram. Ooh, the gossip was hot and juicy that day. And had sent him to Padan Aram to take a wife from there. And that when he blessed him, he commanded him, do not marry a Canaanite woman. And that Jacob had obeyed his father and mother and had gone to Padan Aram. What did Esau do? I need to know, because Esau, you got some for real beef with, legit beef with our friend Jacob here. Esau then realized how displeasing the Canaanite women were to his father Isaac, so he went to Ishmael and married Mahaleth, the sister of Nebaioth, a daughter of Ishmael, son of Abraham, in addition to wives he already had. So he was like, oh, okay, this is what we doing? So he wouldn't collect it. He collecting wives. So he was like, oh, this what daddy said? All right. And since I'm assuming, I don't remember who Esau married, but maybe Esau married some Canaanites. And then he found out later, because they're not talking, if he had been passing legacy down to his son in the respect of we're actually having conversations. Talk to your kids and have some conversations. It shouldn't always be you redirecting your kid, and that is the extent of you having conversations with your kids, and then when they're adults you guys don't know how to sit down and talk because you never sat down and had a conversation. So they don't know how to talk to you, you don't know how to talk to them, so it's always topical. But if you had a conversation with your dad at some point, hey carbs, if you had a conversation with your dad or your mom at some point in y'all's relationship, you should have known your dad didn't like the Canaanites. Like, I knew my daddy was married to a white woman and didn't like white people. Why? Because he always talked about white people. I didn't have to have a conversation with him. I just knew he had a bias against white people. And I always used to look at him. I was like, but Dad, you're married to a white woman. I'm so confused. Never asked any questions, just observed. But what I'm saying is, why do you have to hear through the grapevine? I heard it through the grapevine. Why do you got to hear it through the grapevine that your daddy don't like the Canaanites? Shouldn't y'all have had that conversation? Hey friend, hope your year is starting off right. It's starting off awesome. Actually, my life is just one big bomb right now, and I'm in the middle of the explosion like, all right, God, I'm showing up still. Jacob's dream at Bethel. Jacob left Beersheba and set out for Haran. When he reached a certain place, he stopped for the night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones there, he put it under his head and lay down to sleep. He had a dream in which he saw a stairway resting on the earth with its top reaching to heaven. So this is one of our first lucid dreams, y'all. And the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. There above it stood the Lord, and he said, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham, and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying. I just want to let you know, anybody that told you that you ain't supposed to be dreaming of wealth and riches, they literally in here dreaming of wealth and riches, and God promising them all the land, all the riches, all the camel, all the women. Like, why aren't you supposed to be visualizing and creating your prosperity? Oh, B, okay, B. You know, why ain't you doing that? Okay, these flying insects got me shook. The house is too full, so I had to come outside. But I'ma just let y'all know. Oh, I've had lucid nightmares, like for real scary. Oh, see, I wouldn't even. Abraham and the God of Isaac. So what I'm saying is, God been promising us. God been promising us. And if you feel like there's a promise on your life, there is. You just gotta trust enough. I was gonna say figure out, but you just gotta trust enough how to execute it. I know that there's promise on my life, and I'm just trusting. Okay, what I'm doing right now in this very moment is manifesting whatever it is. I don't have to know how. I don't have to know who. Every time I reach out to someone, it's just another dead end. So it really is, Lonnie, I told you to go with the flow and trust the process. So that's what I'm learning in this moment. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are laying. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth, and you will spread out of the west to the east, to the north, and to the south. All the people on earth will be blessed through you and your offspring. I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Boom. I believe that you have promised me some things, so I know that you are with me, and even after you give me what you promised, you gonna stay with me, because I kind of like this relationship we got right now. When Jacob awoke from his sleep, he thought, surely the Lord is in this place, and I was not aware of it. He was afraid and said, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the house of God. This is the gate of heaven. Yo, I think the gate of heaven is wherever you are, because you are God. Early the next morning, Jacob took the stone he had placed under his head and set it up as a pillar and poured oil on top of it. He called the place Bethel, though the city used to be called Luz. He had the power to say, this is the new name. Then Jacob made a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will watch over me on this journey I am taking, and will give me food to eat and clothes to wear, so that I return safely to my father's household, then the Lord will be my God, and this stone that I have set up as a pillar will be God's house, and of all that you give me, I will give you a tenth. There's the second time they talked about giving the tenth. They gonna drive that 10% home. But yo, he just took God up as his God. But Jacob has been covered his entire life. Jacob has been covered because of Isaac, because of Abraham, because of Noah, because of Adam, because of God. So even if you are not walking, thank you. Even if you are not walking with God, and only you know that. You know if you ain't walking the way you supposed to walk. You know if you ain't walking. And please understand, when they're talking about being upright and faultless, all the stuff that they talk about in the Bible, and they're like, oh, he was upright and he was flawless. These people don't know their children. These people got multiple wives. They screwing concubines and creating babies. They doing all this craziness. They drinking. They getting so drunk. Oh shit! You ain't. Was I talking wrong? Was I talking wrong? You know I'm telling the truth. Don't distract me. You know, they was out here doing the thug thizzle is what I'm saying. So for those of us who will confuse ourselves, no, because you told me to call it out, so I'm calling it out. Those of us who are confusing what is pleasing to God as refraining from those things that the world tells us to refrain from, and that is what's pleasing to God, or you're doing stuff in private. No, I'm not going to go down that road. All I'm saying is only you know what is pleasing and upright to your God, because relationship to God is so very personal. And something that I've been recently saying, there's a particular group of religious individuals that like to impress their beliefs on other individuals, and they like to kind of bully. Woo! Okay. They like to bully their way through. I'm going to keep giving my message even though y'all messing with me. But, what I was saying the other day is relationship with God is universal. Just because we attend, not universal, sorry, it's individual. Just because we attend the same church or we're sitting in the pew next to each other, my relationship with God is completely different than the person sitting right next to me. But for some reason, I don't have a problem with the person sitting next to me because we're in the same pew and we're in the same club. Even though the way that they believe in God and the way that God manifests for them is completely different than the way it manifests for me. Why? Because we didn't sit down and say, okay, how do you believe in God? Okay, you believe that? Okay. Let's align our God relationship. Nobody's doing that. You can't even do that within your home. If you can align your God relationship within your home, somebody's relationship with God isn't real, because it's very personal. And so it just was, bothering me, because it's like, yo, you harassing me because I'm not occupying a pew because you feel that I believe, oh, it's because there's only one way to God and you can live however you want to as long as you believe that this is the only way to God. So I don't really care what your relationship is with God as long as you believe in this one way. That's a cult. Anyway, Jacob marries Leah and Rachel. I don't want to offend nobody, but let's call a thing, because what God said at the dawn of 2024, when I did my 3-day fast and I gave my life over to God, I didn't give my life over to Christ. I did that twice. I gave my life over to God and said, use me. God was like, my people don't know me, and you need to go ahead and read this here Bible and call out the fact that they don't truly know me. You don't truly have relationship with me. The spiritual people are more inclined to have relationship with God because there's no parameters on how they can go and get to know God versus the people who know God through a religious structure. Spirituality is more free-flowing, which means I can actually read this Bible and interpret it the way that I interpret it for my life versus, well, what did someone else say? What does I keep saying the word concordance, but I don't know if that's the right word. What does the additional book say in order for me to know the Lord the way that they want me to know the Lord? No. If I am running my household, if I am running my life, I should be able to pick up this book and learn what I need to learn without consulting anyone else. And if I can't pick up my book and learn what I need to learn from this, that's a problem. I don't need you to interpret this for me. What I need you to do is teach me to think for myself so I can interpret it for myself. Because this verse right here, whatever this verse is, I don't know what it is, but whatever this verse is right here is going to have completely different meaning for me than it does for you. Because this is a guidebook. I made a point. As soon as Laban heard the news Jacob arrived in Padam Aram. Then Jacob continued on his journey and came to the land of the eastern peoples. There he saw a well in the open country with 3 flocks of sheep lying near it because the flocks were watered from that well. The stone over the mouth of the well was large. When all the flocks were gathered there, the shepherds would roll the stone away from the well mouth and water the sheep. Then they would return the stone to its place over the mouth of the well. Jacob asked the shepherds, "My brothers, where are you from?" "We're from Haran," they replied. He said to them, "Do you know Laban, Nahor's grandson?" "Yes, we know him," they answered. Then Jacob asked them, "Is he well?" "Yes, he is," they said. "And here comes his daughter Rachel with the sheep." Oh, Rachel done entered the chat, y'all. "Look," he said, "the sun is still high. It is not time for the flocks to be gathered. Water the sheep and take them back to pasture." "We can't," they replied, "until all the flocks are gathered and the stone has been rolled away from the mouth of the well. Then we will water the sheep." While he was still talking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherd. When Jacob saw Rachel's daughter of his uncle Laban and Laban's sheep, he went over and rolled the stone away from the mouth of the well and watered his uncle's sheep. So he breaking the rules for it. And he ain't even got it yet. Then Jacob kissed Rachel and began to weep aloud. He kissed her? He violated twice. I'm speaking on it, Rhea. I'm speaking on it. Dang. All right. He had told Rachel that he was a relative of his father and a son of Rebekah, so she ran and told her father. Well, I guess the violation was okay because he was a relative. I don't know, y'all. As soon as Laban heard the news about Jacob, his sister's son, he hurried to meet him. He embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his home. And there Jacob told him all these things. Okay, it was a different time. I guess you could just walk up and kiss folks. Then Laban said to him, "You are my own flesh and blood." Jacob marries Leah and Rachel to marry 2 of the sisters. The sibling hate that is in this book so far. No wonder we don't like our siblings. We ain't never liked our siblings. I know these stories, but, I'm just saying. It's a mess. It's a mess. Let's find out how he married sisters. Sisters! After Jacob had stayed with him for a whole month, Laban said to him, just because Rock read Laban in the Bible Experience. Have you guys listened to the Bible Experience? It's dope. After Jacob stayed with him for a whole month, Laban said to him, "Just because you are a relative of mine, should you work for me for nothing? Tell me what your wages should be." So he didn't come into this man's house expecting something for nothing. He came into this man's house and he moved as the household moves. So when you got these older kids moving back in your house and they think they're just going to come into your house doing what they've always done, no, come into this ecosystem and move how this ecosystem moves. And it is an issue that we're having in our house, not even with adult kids establishing our ecosystem, because we've never really had an ecosystem. But I know now that anyone or anything that is successful has a system, and if there's no system, then system is order, organization, a methodology of doing things. I understand and I hate routine, but that is what is necessary to achieve success. Repeated action day after day towards a specific goal. Even if that specific goal is grooming yourself every morning, repeated action breeds success. Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the oldest was Leah, and the name of the youngest was Rachel. Leah had weak eyes, but Rachel had a lovely figure and was beautiful. She had weak eyes, so she must have been hard on the eyes or something. What does her eyesight have to do anything? All right, Carby, we right here. What does her eyesight have to do anything? So she must not have been easy on the eyes, is what I'm thinking, because when they talked about Rachel, she said she had a lovely figure. She had her BBL natural, and she was beautiful. Bust down coming from the scalp. Jacob was in love with Rachel and said, "I'll work for you 7 years in return for your younger daughter Rachel." Was Rachel in love with him? Laban said, "It's better that I give her to you than to some other man. Stay here with me." So Jacob served 7 years to get Rachel, but they seemed like only a few days to him because his love for her. Understand that when you are in a blissful state, when you are in a blissful state, time moves really fast. This is something that I've experienced myself, where I'm just like, time is flying when you're having a good time. 7 years just flew by. I bet you when he was working for those 7 years, this man was like, oh my God. But the first 7 years flew by because he knew at the end of those 7 years. So when you are working towards purpose and you are working towards divinity, time is just going to collapse into itself. Ooh, this is the first collapsing of time. Boom, let's go, collapse time. They done took us away from the magic, but I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to find the magic. And all the stuff that they tell us is of the devil simply because it's not literally in the Bible. Jacob just collapsed time to get him some Rachel. Yeah, he just collapsed time. Then Jacob said to Laban, give me my wife. My time is complete and I want to make love to her. At least he waited to make love to her. And I'm sure they got to know each other pretty well over 7 years. But she was betrothed, so even if, over the 7 years they got to know each other and she didn't like what she seen, did she really have a choice? They did these women so wrong back in the day. I don't care. I just need some backstories because they paint all these beautiful love stories. But these women, and I know there are Bibles written from the female voice and all these different things. But again, this is me reading my Bible and seeing they done dogged these women out so badly. I want her. Oh, don't rape the men, but you could. I said the R word. I hope they don't take my life. Don't do it to the men, but you could do it to the women. They've been dogging them out, turning them into pillars of salt. God did that one. It's better that I give her to you. So Laban brought together all the people of the place and gave a feast. But when evening came, he took his daughter Leah and brought her to Jacob. And Jacob made love to her. And Laban gave his servant Zilpah to his daughter as her attendant. Man, with family like this, with family like Esau and Jacob, with family like Cain and Abel, with family like Sarah, not Sarah, who was it? Rebecca did Isaac so dirty. Rebecca did her own child so dirty. That was yesterday. Y'all gotta be here, but y'all know the stories. If you don't know the stories, y'all gotta be here for Bible study. But with family like this, who needs enemies is all I'm gonna say. And we have to understand this is the same culture that we have brought to our own households. We be acting real shysty within our own homes, going behind each other's backs and conspiring all these different things. I'm just saying. When morning came, there was, this is exclamation mark, so let me read it with the right kind of oomph. When morning came, there was Leah. I bet you he woke up and he was like, I ain't gonna cuss, but you know what he said. So Jacob said to Laban, what is this you have done to me? I served you for Rachel, didn't I? How have you deceived me, man? And once you done stuck your little wang in it, that's your wife, homie. Dang, they did all the ceremony, so ain't no backtracking there. Dang, he did you. Laban replied, it is not our custom here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the oldest one. Why didn't you say that up front and he could have ran off with his girl? Like you knew it wasn't your custom and you deceived him off top. I'm here for the theatrics and commentary. Man, if I could truly be me while reading this Bible, but I gotta filter myself because I'm still attached to the idea that a person who is reading the Bible is supposed to act a certain way and speak a certain way. But Lord, if I could be myself, I could imagine waking up the next day and be like, yo, you ain't Rachel. Finish this daughter's bridal week, then we will give you the younger one also in return for another 7 years of your work. That was a shady deal. See, I told you, Ree, I've been talking about deals, contracts, and selling your souls, and right there where there was a shady ass deal, this man came with all kinds of hidden back behind the way small print in the deal that you could have my daughter in 7 years. They must have had something, and you got to get something in writing. You can't trust nobody. That's why contracts are in writing now. because this mug right here was like, yeah, you got her in 7 years, and then after 7 years, well, it's not our custom. It ain't been your custom. How come you didn't tell me that up front, and I could have went and go and found another chick whose oldest daughter looked good? You gonna make me work 7 years and then try to get another 7 years and then act like you doing me a favor by paying me? You see how they do you? They come to you and they act like they doing you a favor. They gonna throw you a couple shekels of gold, but they gonna make you sign your life away. This man got this man for 14 years of his life, and he thought he was getting a deal. Pay attention. And Jacob did so. He finished the week with Leah, and then Laban gave him his daughter Rachel to be his wife. Laban, I'm sorry. After Laban played me twice, me and Rachel would have been out. We would have been like, yo, when your daddy's asleep, we out. We gonna grab our sheep. We gonna grab our doop. He already had his money, so we ain't even gotta take nothing. I'm about to take you, your little maid servant, and we out. Your daddy ain't getting 7 more years after me. He was the first to be fake. Anyway, let's see how Jacob handles this, because you know me, I've been like, deuces, you're not getting 7 more years from me, and I'm leaving Leah's ass back here. Oh man, it would have been all bad, but I was like, nah, you ain't gonna play me. Then Laban gave him his daughter Rachel to be his wife. Laban gave his servant Bilhah to his daughter Rachel as her attendant. Jacob made love to Rachel also. I bet you that was some bittersweet loving. That was some bitter, like he was probably crying during that because he was like, damn. And his love for Rachel was greater than his love for Leah, and he worked for Laban another 7 years. And his love for Rachel was greater than his love for Leah. So Leah grew up being the ugly child. Leah grew up being the least favored simply because she was not born with beauty. Leah was then used as a pawn of deception. Like, I'm just thinking psychologically, what is Leah going through? Because she knows, like, when you aren't liked and when you aren't loved, you know. So Leah is being used as a pawn, and then she was probably hoping in her adulthood she could escape Rachel, and now she is being married by force to a man, and now she is in a relationship for the rest of her life with her sister, guaranteed she don't like. And then the person that they're married, he has zero love for you. And I don't know if you've ever been in a loveless relationship or a loveless marriage. I've been in loveless relationships, not a loveless marriage, but I don't know if you've ever been in a loveless relationship, but it's miserable. And on top of that, I gotta watch you love my sister more than me. I resent her anyway because I've been compared to her my entire life. And as the older sister, I was made to feel twice as bad because I'm the oldest. Dang, what was Leah going through psychologically? Where was her help? Where was her support? Literally put in work for that. Put in work. Like he just melted into her because he put in literal work for her. Blood, sweat, and tears to get inside of that. I think he deserved it. Jacob's children. What time is it? Because I gotta go. How long is this chapter? Alright, we can get into Jacob's children. Jacob's children, when the Lord saw that Leah was not loved, she ain't been loved her whole life, you just saw this? He enabled her to conceive. See, because she wasn't loved. See, God shady too, I'm sorry. He was just like, since I see that you're not loved, I'm going to block her womb and open yours up. What Rachel do? She ain't did nothing but be born beautiful like you made her. You made her beautiful. Now she got to be childless because she looked good. And the daddy ain't, like they daddy ain't. It was Laban. Everybody suffering because of Laban. That's a mess. But Rachel remained childless. Leah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Reuben. And she said, it is because the Lord has seen my misery. Her misery. I don't know how miserable you have to be miserable. I know unhappiness. I know, But I don't know what it means to be miserable presently. I've been in situations where I'm just like, I'm freaking miserable. So let me tap into that energy. But this is miserable in the information age. So I'm miserable where I could go scroll my phone and be miserable. I could go watch TV and be miserable. I could go for a walk and be miserable. She was miserable when there were no distractions like that. That's another level of miserable. And so she gonna have a baby. The answer to her misery is having a kid with a man that don't love her. Surely my husband will love me now. Oh, and there goes the lie that a man will love you more if you pop a baby for him. We've been believing these lies since the beginning of time, y'all. We know what happens when you pop a baby to get some love. It don't work. Why? Because we saw it with Leah. Can we learn with Leah and stop popping these dang babies to get a man? Whew. Let me keep reading. She conceived again. Dang, she popped another seed. So he was hitting it. No, I won't talk about that. He was hitting it. I'm going to just say that. And when she gave birth to a son, she said, because the Lord heard that I am not loved. So clearly the first baby didn't get her the love she needed. So she popped another one, because you have to understand the time of conception. She had to at least be pregnant for 9 months. And in that 9 months, he did not grow in love with her. When she produced baby, now I do know that it is possible to pop a baby and get pregnant immediately after. I don't know if it is safe, but if we can assume that she popped a baby and then popped another baby, 9 plus 9 is 18, so it has been at least 18 months. At least. And she still ain't loved. So the baby didn't solve nothing, huh? You don't say. Because the Lord has heard that I am not loved, and he gave me this one too. She named him Simeon. I don't know, it's one of the two. Again, she conceived. She done popped another one. Let's see if she gets some love after this. I'm hopeful, sis. I'm hopeful you get you some love. Again, she conceived, and when she gave birth to the son, another son, she said, now at least my husband will become attached to me. He ain't even attached to her. He just hitting it to hit it. Ain't no love. Have you been? Now, I've definitely had some emotionless sex. I have sat under men and cried. So I'm saying, I have definitely had somebody humping on me, and I'm just like, so there's no attachment. She is miserable. She is not loved, and there is no attachment, and she done popped 3 babies out thinking she was gonna get one of these things from this man who felt like he was trapped with her. He ain't ever gonna love you because you were a trap. And now you're further trapping him, because now he has to will his legacy to the children of the woman that he didn't even want. I wonder how the I'm gonna bless you when I die gonna go down with his kids. We gonna have to keep reading tomorrow, because I need to know how he left his legacy, because he got to leave it to one of these 3 sons. Like, to be right, you got to leave it to one of the kids of the woman that you don't love. And I understand I love all of my children equally, but I also have children with a man that I love. And the love that I feel between him and those children is a different energy, not a different love, but a different energy behind having children with someone that you're in love with. And you don't know that if you just popping babies. My first 2, I was just popping babies, because for me, I had so many miscarriages in my life. I was like, if God blesses me to carry a baby full term, then it's my baby I'm supposed to have. So I don't believe in that for me. Now, I will drive any friend that needs a ride to wherever they need to go to get done what they need to get done. So I don't care what anybody else does for themselves. But for me, I was just like, look, I done had so many miscarriages. Like, who am I to make the choice? You making the choice already, And then, so that's why I have my first 2 children. Well, that's high level. And I've had these conversations with my kids. So for those of you who are sitting like, oh my God, I've had these conversations with them. They understand. Your mom was out here. Freak of the week. Yeah, because you a freak. Yeah, your mom was out here getting it popping. No protection. Having loveless relationships. Where did I learn it? And, then I finally had my 2 sons with the man that I love and who loves me and just makes me feel like I walk on water, even though I'm so flawed. And it's a different energy. So he got to give his legacy to children. And we already know, like, he probably didn't even like those kids. Like, back then, they had no problem letting you know, I know I birthed you, but I don't like you. We saw what what's her name? I always mix up Sarah and Rebecca. Who came first? Sarai was Abraham. And who is this? Rebecca. Yeah, Rebecca. I gotta figure out a way to remember those names. Sarah was Sarai, who was Abram, who was Abraham. Rebecca came next, and after that came, who's this chick? Rachel. Okay. Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel. Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel. I need to stop mixing those names up because I mean no disrespect. I just mix them up. But they all out here in violation, so I gotta keep them in track. Poor Leah and Hagar got the short end of the stick. I ain't forgot about you, Hagar. Ishmael, I still remember y'all. Y'all got done dirty. But God blessed you in the end. Now at least my husband will become attached to me because I have bore him 3 sons. So he was named Levi. Is 3 the charm? We gon' see. She conceived again, and when she gave birth to another son and another one, this time I will praise the Lord. So she named him Judah. Then she stopped having children. Oh, man, I gotta see. Because it says, when Rachel saw that she was not bearing Jacob any children, man, in these last, I ain't even supposed to be here no more. I gotta be leaving, but I gotta know what Rachel did. When Rachel saw that she was not bearing Jacob any children, she became jealous of her sister. So she said to Jacob, give me children or I'll die. Jacob became angry with her and said, am I in the place of God who has kept you from having children? Then she said, here is Behel. Oh, she done did it again, y'all. My servant, sleep with her so that she can bear children for me, and I too can build a family through her. Tomorrow gonna be lit. I'm here but driving. This is good. When is the next one? I have Bible study. Yeah, I gotta close up. Whew. I had to wipe the sweat off my brow. It was about to get lit, y'all. All right, so tomorrow we're going to continue Genesis chapter 30. How we like to do this is I'm reading the Bible simply to give you some thinking points, right? We're not here to tell each other what to think. We're just here to let each other know it's okay to ask questions, to let each other know that it's okay to conceptualize and to derive our own meaning from things. That's why we're here. That's why I was called to read the Bible. God said, my people don't know me. Read my word to them every day. 12 noon Mountain Standard Time. It is 12:57 here, so whatever it was 57 minutes ago, that is when I have Bible study, Monday through Saturday. Ish. I'm always a little late. I'm always looking at my phone at like 11:59, like, okay, girl, get up and read this Bible. It's not reading the Bible because, as you can see, it is very exciting, but it is me getting up out the bed, and it's so cozy. Today I'm outside because the inside of the house is full. But what we like to do after we're done reading the Bible, we like to pull out our journals, not together, but independently. Pull out your journal and really journal what you received from today's reading, because in that journaling you're able to make the connections and take what we read in this hypothetical world, as my husband likes to say, a book of fables, what we have taken from this book of fables, and how can we apply that lesson, because at the end of the day, even if it is a book of made up stories, okay, those stories are still put there to help us figure this life out. So journal and just write what you received from today's reading, and we'll see you tomorrow. Those of you who aren't familiar with me, I'm Lonnie Appleton. I am a healthy family advocate. If you're not already following the community, make sure you follow the community. We're out here healing ourselves, healing our families, being progressive, debunking the lies, releasing ourselves from the density of the third dimension. It's a little bit of spirituality. It's a little bit of family content. It's a little bit of I'm just living my damn life out loud, and you're welcome to do so. Get inspired. Start being positive and progressive and intentional in your own life. I am here to just show what's possible. It is possible. I don't know what it is. You know what it is for yourself, and just know that if it's possible for me, it's possible for you. And also, I am a 2-time author. If you haven't picked up my book, What's the Best That Can Happen, it's available on Amazon. Lonnie Taylor is the seller. You can always pick up my merch. Check it out. I did a stint as an artist. I don't identify as an artist, but I have a lot of pieces that have a lot of my popular sayings on them, as well as, just empowering messages in my art. So that's available at LonnieLifestyle.com, as well as you can book my coaching services, you can book my mentor services, and you can book my energy worksheets. What an energy worksheet is I, with your permission, connect with you through higher consciousness, your ancestors. You tell me I need to work on patience, I need to work on, creativity, I need to work on whatever block that you feel that you have. I channel a worksheet for you. So if you think of worksheets that you had in school where they're like, okay, fill in the blanks, read this book and fill in the blanks. Well, no, you are the book, and there's not blanks, it's actual journal work, and every line is purposeful, every word is purposeful. So yes, I give you specific journaling points, but the entire worksheet can be worked forwards and backwards, and you can utilize that to not only push you through that which you identified that you need help with, but you'll realize that the thing that you actually thought you had to work on has so many different tentacles, and you're able to heal yourself through that. That's $66, so very affordable price point in my opinion. I also do channeling from higher consciousness, so you would come to me with 2 or 3 questions. I'm not sure what the price point includes, and you say, these are the things that I've been contemplating. I really need just confirmation or just help to get through whatever it is I need to get through. I channel message from higher consciousness to help you move forward with your life, so that's also available on there. I am a public speaker, so I'm available for bookings and public speaking event. So if you got your favorite you got your favorite podcaster, message them and say, yo, you should have Lonnie Appleton on your show. Let's help expand this network beyond me getting in front of this camera. The only way that this is going to grow is if you tell somebody, hey, if you've ever been interested in hearing the Bible in an entertaining way, you want to laugh while you go through, you want to think, you want to, whatever it is that you receive from this, I'm not out here to be funny. I'm out here to make you think, and I'm just a natural, humorous person. And so tell somebody. If you've enjoyed this, tell somebody. And let's grow this network, because at the end of the day, I'm showing up and reading this Bible because God told me to, and it's my assignment. But I would love to do this with as many people as possible. So that's who I am. That's what we're doing. And I'm so happy I gotta go. I gotta go take my kid to her interview, and she can't be late. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great day. See you tomorrow at noon. Noon. That damn button.